Hi, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of the Quantum Compass. This is episode number 3. My name is Davyd Farrell. I'm your co-host for today, and it's my great pleasure to introduce my partner and co-founder of Quantum Plant Healing, Mayan Dreamweaver, Bella Alvaran, into the house. Hi, Bella, how
Hi,
are you?
everybody. Hi. Super happy to be here for our third session of the WaveSpell and astrology.
Right, so yes, we've started this new year doing this brand new show, the Quantum Compass, to help all of you out there watching this work with this Mayan time, the 1320 calendar, which is actually helping many of us to reshape how we perceive time and how we use time. And what I love about these Mayan Wave Spells, Bella, is they give us a purpose to every moment of every day. Which I feel like sometimes our Gregorian calendar kind of kicks things to the end of the week, end of the month, or the summer holidays or something. But with this, every day is really, really important. And this particular wave spell is the blue magnetic monkey that starts on February the 28th, which is a super powerful day astrologically, which we're going to look at later in the show, because this show is all about merging the astrology, sometimes even the cosmology, with the Mayan time and the Mayan wave spell so that we can work out the container that's coming towards us in a few days' time. So these shows come out every couple of weeks, and each Mayan Wave Spell is 13 days. But now I'm going to hand over to the resident expert, which of course is Bella, and she's going to talk us through how she's perceiving what's coming next and give a few other pointers as well.
Right. So we came from the previous show. It was about the wave spell of the mirror. It's a powerful one. We're just finishing now. And it was all about reflections and projections and integrating our shadows. Now we're going to enter a completely different one. It's called the blue monkey. But first, let's give this to some people that probably don't know a lot about the whole Mayan and sacred calendar, which is called the Solkin, which is a process of cosmic creation. So the Gregorian is about 1260, all of this is a very mechanized, and it's very rational as well, because some days are 28, some are 29, 30, 31st. It doesn't make sense. But when it comes to the Solkin is natural and it's organic, is the 1320. We have 13 articulations in our body, as you can see here, and you can see them from our legs all the way up and down to the other side. And we have 10 fingers and 10 toes, and they are reflected in the calendar, the 30-20. So here what we want to invite people to do is to track the days and become more aligned with that natural time and with sacred geometry, and trusting that the evolution as it flows through us, allowing to live in complete connection with the cosmos. This is what we do with the cycles. And this is all to do with the gestation process. That's how long it takes for a baby to be formed. It's all organic. And this is the Solkin itself. And the blue highlighted column is the amount of days that we're going to do with this blue monkey wave spell. 13 days starting right at the heart of that calendar of the matrix. So, with the Gregorian, as you were saying, there is a profound misconception of distorted linear time. So people believe that it's only 3D, and that's where you create a very limited kind of reality. So this perception results in people thinking that physical reality is the only reality, and the mind is mechanized with all of these irregular cycles. But this is the natural cycle that we can actually jump on. And when we change our relationship with time, we change our perception of ourselves and of the world, and we journey every 13 days, and we evolve and connect with the galactic tones that we have here. And these are the 20 glyphs for people that don't know them. And the blue monkey is the one here highlighted. How do you like the picture of my blue monkey?
I'm like wondering who's his barber. I think he needs to have a chat with his local barber because something went wrong last time. I think he went to see him. But I love the picture, Bella. It's great.
So the blue magnetic monkey, this archetype has these qualities: connection with the divine inner child, magic, connection to arts and crafts, wisdom through curiosity. Being the curiosity is something we should feed, and it's something that we have when we're children, but it gets kind of boxed as we grow up. Reconnection to our creativity, to playing, to joy, And this archetype, or the monkey, is connected to being the weaver of time, right? And the shadow for this archetype is being very sarcastic, insensitive, the trickster energy, egotism, and being self-centered. So even though today is the monkey, that is today meaning on the 28th, which is when the wave spell would start, this energy, it's the one that is going to guide all of the next 13 days. The transformation for this energy is to be able to heal the inner child, speak your truth, to be more sensitive and open-hearted, to laugh, be happier, much more, to play more, be very transparent, like innocence is super important here. And use your creativity to transform your reality. Allow joy to rise. So this is the invitation of this beautiful archetype. Be innocent, open-hearted, heal your divine inner child, and become a magician. How do you like that archetype?
It speaks to me very loudly, and you know, I think the timing of it, Bella, is really really interesting. And I've just written a few notes which I'll loop back to in a minute. But coming off the back of the previous wave spell, of course, the mirror, which, as you so rightly said, has been looking at shadow. One of the keywords that came through today for one of the interviews I was doing for our upcoming oak emotion was preparedness. The oak teaches us to be prepared. And I think that the white mirror was really preparing us for this incredibly creative, magical wave spell that is coming, that starts with this powerful astrology on February the 28th. So I'm super excited.
Absolutely.
I think that this wave spell can help us transform ourselves and how we perceive reality into something that's much more magical and with less shadow.
Yep, agree. And so this is the wave spell. It's 13 steps, 13 days. Each one of them has an archetype and a tone, a galactic tone. And what they do is, so if you can see the wave here, and then this is like the crest of the wave spell, days 6, 7, 8, right? Here, and then you go up to day 13. And that crest of the wave is a very strong influence. And what it's inviting us to do is to cleanse more, let go, and ground. You see the earth here. This is telling us ground. Make sure that you're grounding as you do all of this work over the 13 days. So each day has a solar seal or an archetype and a tone that create the energy of the day, which is called the galactic signature. And that each one of us has a galactic signature, which is the day of our birth. And that is our key to higher dimensions. And they are just natural codes that connect us to more telepathy and more of our higher dimensionality or multidimensionality. Over these 13 days, what we do is some reflective questions. So every day you could journal and just ask every day, what do you, each one of them has like a purpose. Or on day one, what you want to do is identify the purpose. What do you want to achieve or connect to over these 13 days, taking into account the keywords and qualities we already talked about, which were creativity and innocence and inner child and all of those things. And that's very much for the Mayan. I just want to leave you guys with this. Synchronicity is the norm of the universe. And this is what this calendar allows us to do, connect to synchronicities. And then we get to see and experience our connection with these flow patterns in life and in nature. And everything is coded. Everything is sacred geometry and beautiful mathematics. When you look at the Fibonacci codes or a flower, a sunflower, or everything is beautiful sacred geometry. And so we can connect with these codes and the larger cosmic design. And I'll leave you with these words from Argüelles. Who owns your time owns your mind. Own your own time and you will know your own mind. I think it's beautiful because we are changing the paradigm of being time is money to time is art. Time is the evolution of consciousness. So this is it. Have an amazing wave spell. This is a beautiful wave spell. Remember, we're in the middle of the mystical column. We're right in the middle of this beautiful Solkin sacred calendar. Right. So are we going to the astrology, or do you have any comments?
Just a couple of comments. Thank you so much for that overview there, Bella. As always, gives a very clear container. And just a couple of little details, really. So this is a slightly weird wave spell because the second day is February the 29th, which of course is a leap year day, which only technically happens in a Gregorian calendar every 4 years and isn't really a real day, certainly not in the Mayan calendar. So in this wave spell, the first day is February the 28th, but the second day is actually
The
March the
29th.
1st.
So that day is
Yeah.
going to be a day out of time, which what you do on a day out of time is you celebrate the galactic freedom, you concentrate, you put your energy into art, into something cultural. You make sure you incorporate art, science, and spirituality on that day. So be very present. It's a day out of time. So you create. Time is art. What do you want to create on that day? How do you connect with the cosmos on that day? And then you flow into the rest of the wave.
Right. I think it's, in many ways, it's a little strange, but it's also super interesting because we've got this extra day of almost intention setting ahead of this wave spell, which I think really lends some credence to what this wave spell wants to show us. But I'm just going to just pull out two little phrases that you use there, which I want to log for the end of the show, which is the weaver of time and transparency, because they're very much connected to what we're going to share as the tree or plant of this wave spell. But more on that a little bit towards the end of the show. But yeah, let's have a quick look at the astrology, Bella. And while
Also,
you
the
were
need for grounding, remember.
yes,
That's also
exactly.
important
Yeah.
for the, yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
let's go into the astrology.
So we kick off this wave spell, and also we're going to be kicking off our oak immersion, which is really interesting because on that day we have a Saturn cazimi at 9 degrees of Pisces. We also have a Mercury cazimi that day too, and Saturn also conjuncts with Mercury. I have given these details out before, but I'm just going to repeat them again because they're somewhat interesting. The flow of the energy across that day is that Mercury conjuncts the Sun at 2:40 a.m. CST time. Thank you, Bella, which is 8:42 UTC. The Sun then conjuncts Mercury at 0907 CST, which I believe is 3:07 PM UTC. And then finally, the Saturn cazimi, which I think is a really powerful motif, but it's all pretty powerful, where Saturn conjuncts the Sun is at 25 past 3 CST, which is going to be 9:25 PM UTC, I believe. So just wanted to give that because sometimes when we've got these flows of powerful things happening on the same day, they're all working synchronistically and harmoniously to deliver some kind of information for us or some kind of revelation. And when we were thinking about our upcoming oak immersion some time ago, we didn't really plan, did we, Bella, on it being in February? We were thinking more around the end of March or April. And then, as always, the intuition came through and we started to look at the details, and then we checked in and doused on everything. We were told that it had to start on February 28th. We then start looking into the astrology, and lo and behold, there's a Saturn cazimi. And the oak is very linked to Chronos, which is Saturn, which is to do with time. So just going to log that little piece in there. Very powerful day, February the 28th. What can I say about this? I feel like we're also being asked to, it's also sextiling Jupiter, which is a positive aspect on this. But what's really being shown here is the possibility of bringing a dream together into reality, okay? And how do we do that? Well, a dream or a vision or an idea starts off here in our mind or our awareness. We could say our higher dimensional capacities. And it will stay there until we take some sort of direct action, which normally involves the element of fire, or we can say also the sun, actually. And so the sun energy, the fire energy, fires up illuminated ideas and gives us the impetus to bring them down into 3D and make them a reality here in 3D, bringing heaven down to earth, right? That's really what this whole gig is about. That's what we're doing here on planet Earth as humans, is bringing heaven down to earth and manifesting the higher dimensional realms into our 3D reality. Now, over the last several millennia, it's not been so easy for many reasons that many of us understand, but those energies are now being removed from our planet and we're being freed up to reevaluate how we manage our time and also our creative energies. And if we're freeing up lots of energy from those things in our life that no longer serve us, it's creating this new energy resource, but also more time to use this energy resource. And I think, Bella, that what we're looking at here on February the 28th is the possibility to step into this blue magnetic monkey wave spell of magic with the energy of our dreams becoming reality if we want them to. Again, big choice point, everybody, here in the bifurcation process that's going on. Are we staying fractal, organic, creative, or are we becoming inverted, regressive, and maybe possibly even AI in our way of looking at things and being? So I feel, again, Bella, this is a really powerful pivot point. And I love what you've done there with the green highlighting. You've introduced our special guest for today, which is asteroid numero 8643, otherwise known as Quercus. And who is Quercus? Quercus is the Latin name for the oak. So in a very interesting position there, hovering very close to the heart of the Scorpius constellation, which is Antares, which is also the direct access point to the Akashic records of this part of the universe. Again, please just log that little detail, very important, because Quercus, as the oak, is one of the beings on this planet, as a tree being, who's able to actually connect as an antennae into the cosmic aspects of not just ourselves, but of the universe that we exist in, and to bring it down into the 3D, into our trunk, so that we may experience it in the middle world, or this reality that we inhabit, but then not just to stop there, but to go down into our roots and anchor, or as Bella said, ground deeply into Mother Earth. So as above, so below, as within, so without. These are big motifs, I think, that we're working with at this moment. So plenty to say about this chart, Bella, but there are many other shows out there able to do that. But do you have any comments on this kickoff point for this wave spell?
Yes, this is a point with that Saturn cazimi as a reality check point, where you need to make sure, are you on track with your dreams and with your goals, or are you still playing the victim or making excuses for yourself? It's a big point for reality checks. And are you living up to your potential? So that blue monkey wave spell is inviting you to reconnect to your dreams, to your, when you were a child, what did you dream of doing and you never got to do as well? Are you enjoying time? Are you becoming a magician? So all of those things, I think, is really good.
And you know what's another really beautiful aspect there, Bella, with this wave spell is the inner child, because the child, if allowed to be free, is super creative, super psychic, super empathic normally, very, very much in connection with the other non-physical realms. And, you know, for many of us as children, that gets squeezed out fairly early in life, possibly even before we're the age of 10, because we're told that our dreams don't matter, our imagination is just something that's not real, and all of those things that squash the creative energies of the child. And, you know, as we grow up, we still have our inner child who's connected to that creative, playful place. And yeah, so the next astrological point that we've picked out here is really just one that we've been tracking for a while now, off the back of doing the Moons and Mythos show with our friend and astrologer Kelly Hunter, which is the Black Moon Lilith flashpoint. Now, we're recording this show on February the 22nd, a couple of days before the full moon on the 26th. There is actually a Black Moon Lilith flashpoint on that day too. But what these are is when the mean Black Moon Lilith and the true Black Moon Lilith come together at exactly the same point. And what this does is it creates what we call a Black Moon Lilith flashpoint, or a portal, which you can use for magic and manifestation. And if you want to learn more about that, please do check out the Quantum Plant upgrades over on our QPH website, where we give more indications in that protocol, but also in the magic and manifestation workshop. So I think it's actually in that one about how to work with astrology for manifestation. So this is a very powerful day, March the 6th, which is actually going to be day 7 of the wave spell of the monkey, which is the day of attunement, Bella. So I feel like we're being offered this possibility to attune to the energies and potentiality of Black Moon Lilith, who, interestingly, is in aspect to Quercus. That looks to me like a square. So there is some tension point there with the more, I mean, perhaps, do you want to share anything about Black Moon Lilith for a second, Bella?
That more than about Black Moon Lilith, is about that is the day for grounding. So you're using the energy together with Quercus to ground what you're doing over those 13 days of the process.
That's a really good point, because the glyph of that day is actually the earth, right? Which is a sort of, with the intention of attunement for that day, we can intend to attune to the earth, which of course is very much connected to trees, but I also think it's very much part of the piece that we're in. And I remember one of the very first pieces I did with the astrologer Pam Gregory way back in 2022 was called Organic versus Inorganic, which was about the Saturn squaring Uranus, and of course Uranus being in Taurus, and Saturn at that point, I think, was in Capricorn. So there was this kind of strange energy, but the way that it was summed up was organic versus inorganic. Which choices are we making? As Saturn has now moved into Aquarius, are we going to stay more in the traditional agrarian organic fractal way, or again, are we going to shift to a different type of existence? And there are many other videos out there about the whole transhuman movement, but I think that we're being offered these very interesting choice points again. So that was that one. The next one that came into our awareness is I've got in my notes here that this is a day of possible seismic changes. Mars in Aquarius squares Uranus in Taurus. Yes, quite a powerful set of energies going on there. And I would say that this is a day of high voltage energy, potentially lots of sort of freedom expressions. What else can we say about this? And it could be a necessary disruption of the status quo. Now, as a somewhat rebellious person, I'm often in favor of disrupting the status quo, because the status quo is what keeps us sometimes in a place of inertia or paralysis. Especially when the status quo is being directed to us by a series of systems that don't have our best interests at heart. So maybe, Bella, what we're looking at in this early part of March, and sort of, that's actually on, I make that day 10 of the wave spell, which is a day of manifestation. With
Yes,
the sun.
and with the sun. So do expect a shake-up on that day. It could be high voltage. It could be lots of solar flares, for example. So we're getting to see how it all interconnects.
Right, exactly. And again, we've just marked Quercus there, who is slowly moving through Sagittarius. And by this point, I think he's now conjunct the great attractor. And we put the charts up. For those of you who are inclined, you can sit and look at them in a bit more detail. We're just picking out a few of the highlights just because they're in this wave spell. But of course, we've done other astrology shows on different parts of our channel, and many other people too. But we're also going to be looking in more detail at some of the specifics of the astrology during this wave spell in relation to Quercus during the immersion. So that's a potentially explosive day. I've definitely marked it down in my diary as a day to be a little bit careful, I think, particularly about how I express myself.
There could be a lot of more protests and you know what's been happening. Did you see what happened today in France with the farmers in the tractors coming to Paris? So a lot of movement, I think, around that too.
Yeah, and it's not just France, of course. I've seen videos from Madrid. I'm hearing the big stories in India, and it seems that, yes, there is a collective movement right now where many people are saying, I've had enough of this. I don't agree with these insane policies that you're trying to push. And it's not just in one place, it's across the board. I mean, the farmers are actually protesting about something directly related to their livelihood and the issue of cheaper goods from other parts of Europe that are not in the EU. So that's just one issue. And you could pick a range of 50 or 60 right now, easily affecting different parts of society for people to protest over. So as we move forward through 24, I feel that the energy of Mars and Eris and these more rebellious planets are likely to, or objects are likely to come into the mix more. So we have the new moon in Pisces, 20 degrees on March the 10th. And that is on day 11 of the wave spell, which is the day of liberation. So we're heading into a liberation day, which is normally after the culmination in the wave spell of the intention the day before and the day of manifestation. And it's on a new moon. So I feel like we're being encouraged to liberate ourselves from the things that we've already worked through on the previous 10 days of this wave spell, so that we can be in a really, really clear place to set our new moon intentions.
I think that is also showing us connect to your spiritual side, connect to your dreams. So once we've been doing all of this work, and the creativity can now come into place, and we can reconnect with that and take that leap of faith into this new cycle, because we've been cleaning, we've been detoxing, we've been working our shadow, integrating it, and now we get to dream. Once we become like children, we reconnect with our divine inner child, we can now be transparent and dream and manifest amazing and beautiful things that are both maybe for the healing of others, but also the spiritual aspect of this part of us.
True that. And I'm just looking again at the astrology, and it's very busy in Pisces, of course. You know, we have the Sun, Moon, Saturn, and Neptune all in Pisces, which is, of course, mutable water, very fluid. I like to think of Pisces a bit like being a running river. but perhaps sometimes a running river that's burst its banks and has become a flood, because Pisces is mutable and doesn't always have its own boundaries. And we've got all of these energies in Pisces, and of course water is very much connected to the emotions. And it seems to me, and it's not on this chart, I didn't bring it up, but our friend and astrologer Alan Clay has been talking a lot about Gongkun or Gongong, and Pam Gregory also has been talking about this KBO dwarf planet, which is the manager of water. Now that's appeared in another show and definitely pointing towards that, because what it's suggesting to me, Bella, is that we've got this big watery emotional piece that is going to start potentially, I wouldn't say overwhelming us, but if we're not grounded, not rooted, and not centered and structured, we might find that we could find the watery element overwhelming us. Do you have any thoughts about that at all?
I think if we haven't done any of the processes that we've been discussing, then yes, it could be quite emotional as well. Yes, big water.
Right. And again, also just another aspect here, I'm just clocking it. If we take out Quercus and Black Moon Lilith, all of the planets are below the horizon. So they're still waiting to emerge into our awareness of what our dream is going to be. It's still very much in the, I would say in this analogy, very much in the ground, waiting to, gestate and send up those first spring shoots, which of course we're in. This is spring. It's Imbolc, everybody, certainly here in the Northern Hemisphere. And if you're in those colder, more northerly countries, you will hopefully start to see some of the first plants and flowers of the spring appearing, the snowdrops, the crocuses, the bluebells, the ramsons, the cleavers, the nettles, all of which are very, very important to our cleansing process. So definitely suggesting to check in outside of the oak with plants like cleavers, wild garlic, and nettle, which are part of our spring tonic plant range, which really help us clear out some of the stagnant junk and gunk from the winter. So these are just the major astrological points that we've picked out for this wave spell. Hopefully those little points there give all of you a little bit more potential to deep dive. But Bella, you have highlighted Quercus, and
yes.
Shall we talk about that a little bit now?
Yes. So we have the Mayan, which is the wave spell of the monkey. We have the astrology. We just went through the main aspects that are happening over those 13 days. And now the plant for this period of time, which is the oak. It's been calling us for a while, and now finally we're going to be fully immersed, starting on the 28th, working with the oak. That we already recorded an amazing session with Zach, the Ascended Master. So that's going to be part of that container. Super juicy information, really good.
Right, and so for those of you who are watching the show for the first time, maybe, or new to the work that Bella and myself do with Quantum Plant Healing and Quantum Planet Top World, on Quantum Plant Healing, our original plant healing website, or where we hold all of our immersions and where our community is based, we periodically do these plant or tree immersions for 13 days. In this case, it's 14 because of the time, but normally it's 13 days. And we follow these 30-day containers because of exactly what Bella's just shared with us, is that each day is part of a progressive process that takes us through the first 10 days of setting intentions, becoming clear about what we're doing, to a place of manifestation, a place of release, a place of collaboration, and finally, on day 13, a place of transcendence. So when we couple a Mayan wave spell with working with a tree or a plant, and we're calling in the quantum intelligence or the tree or plant spirit of the particular being, in this case, the oak, we're calling in that being to come and share its medicine and its wisdom with us over the course of 13 days, so that we can become really deeply connected with this tree, the oak, or any other plant that we're working with, but also so that we can start to receive the more higher dimensional information that these incredibly profound, in this case, celestial being, want to share with us. And with all of the astrology, with Saturn at play, with the sun at play, with so many big solar flares hitting us, the oak tree is very, very connected to Senor El Sol, the sun, or Solana. Myself and Leslie Shankman from the Stellar Nations Pathway just did a whole piece about one of the stars, Deneb Adige, which is connected very closely to the Saturn cazimi point in the zodiac chart. And Deneb Adige is actually the home of the 9 original forester tree spirits, of which the number 1 is the oak. So you can't make this stuff up, everybody. This star, Deneb, is actually aligned to Göbekli Tepe, which of course has lots of different animal motifs and particularly bird motifs. And Deneb Adige is in the constellation of Cygnus. So it's actually what in the stellar nations is considered to be part of the bird nation. So there's lots of correspondences and synchronicities already kicking in, but without giving too much away for what's coming up with the oak, what I would like to share is just a couple of motifs that we've already touched upon, which is that the oak gives us strength. It also teaches us that I am enough, but it also wants to show us how do we hold our space and our integrity, and most of all, our authenticity in connection with our divine self, so that we may become the fully embodied manifestation of our divine plan for ourselves. We're going to be talking a lot in coming weeks, not just in the immersion, but in other shows too, about the presence life of our divine will and our free will, and how perhaps sometimes our free will and divine will are not working together, even though they're embedded within us. And how do we bring our free will in alignment with our divine will? Interesting thoughts, but we'll get into that more deeply down the road. We've already alluded to the asteroid Quercus 8643, which of course you can go onto some of the great astro web sites and resources, and you can find out where Quercus is in your own astrology. Now, Bella just pulled down the slide there. I was just about to allude to the wonderful oak essence that we've made with a Texas live oak, in which you can purchase. And you know, essences are really a very Aquarian technology, Bella, right? They're quantum intelligence captured in the beautiful vase of water and then fixed with a little bit of alcohol. But that water is like a hard drive from nature, and it can contain all of the Akashic record information of the oak.
It's a vibrational essence of the plant. And I also wanted to mention, as part of the immersions, if people don't know, we journey as a group for 13 days. This one is going to be 14 days because of the day out of time. And then we have lots of tutors and different teachers, and there are different talks. This time, do you want to mention a couple of the ones that we have for this one?
Yeah, we do. It's super exciting. And so these containers, as Bella has said, it's progressive day-to-day Mayan meditation from Bella, which gives a little bit more information about the glyph and how to work with it. But then each day there's also a series of live calls and pre-recorded transmissions or interviews with different people, each contributing a different aspect of the oak, but from different perspectives. And so we bring in astrology, cosmology, herbalism, in this case also druidry, because the oak is really the tree of the druids, and also quantum plant intelligence and shamanism, Mayan dream intelligence. And what we do is we create a tableau or a container, which we as the space holders are leading, but we work with the teachers, but also everybody in the container is contributing to this overall experience that we all participate in. And we've done, I don't know how many now, Bella, maybe 15 of these journeys over. It's quite a lot.
Yes. And I'm sure that many of the people that have been in the immersions with us are watching the show as well. They have become experts in Mayan wave spells, in astrology, in plants, in herbalism. So would love to hear from the people that have already been with us in the immersions, because it's such a great testimonial of what's going on. It's like a new tribe.
Right. And actually, you know what? Thank you for saying that, Bella. For those of you who are watching this video and have participated in immersions, please do feel free to share the benefits that you've got from working this way, because we're trying to offer everybody here a different way of living, a different way of healing, different way of perceiving time, and a different way of using our own resources, our own physical body resource, which is one of the most profound technologies we can ever connect with, our higher dimensional consciousness, which if we connect to it fully and cleanly and clearly, like we did in the Return of the Light immersion we did before Christmas, when we were working with Mullen, which is really a sword of light that comes down from the high heavens, down through our central channel and connects us deep into the earth. And as long as that central channel is nice and clean and clear, then it means that the communications the oak wants to bring through its branches can also come down to us nice and clean and clear. Sometimes that could be for healing, things that we need to look at, but it can also be about plans for the future that our higher self has for us and wants to show us, so that we can really step into who we are and why we're here, which I think is the ultimate aim for any human being.
Good. And just to finish, I'd like to let people know that we'll have a Mayan cosmology course coming up in March. So probably for the next wave spell, we'll be giving all the details for that. So you'll be able to find out what is your galactic signature, how to work with the Mayan sacred round, and lots more. Even where did the Mayans get all of this information? So we'll probably go a lot more into that. And also to point people to the Rumble channel, where we can talk about things that YouTube doesn't allow us to talk about. So a lot of good information also in the Rumble.
Thank you, Bella, for sharing all of that. Yes, we'll put all those links in the video. This video predominantly will be going out on YouTube, but we will also share it on Rumble. And we do ask all of you who watch our videos on our YouTube channel to support us as we try to move some of what we're doing over to Rumble, because if you've managed to catch the recent edition of Web of Weird that I did with Pete, who's part of our immersion, or indeed with my microscopist and naturopath Caroline Mansfield looking at toxicity, it's all related. Nothing that we talk about, Bella, is unrelated. It's all to do with healing, cleansing, clearing, and becoming who we truly want to be. And everything that we put out, everybody, is always going in that direction. We're trying to expand all of our consciousnesses, but at the same time also ensuring that we're nice and clean and clear of those things that no longer serve us. So super excited about your course, Bella. You know, of course, I've been working a little bit on with you and seeing the shape that's forming, and it's super exciting. It's going to be a lot of new material, I think, but also putting everything into a context that is something that's easy to understand and workable with. And part of the quantum compass is actually preparing people to become more au fait with this way of looking at time and working with it. So super excited about that, Bella.
Yeah, super excited to put it together. I'll just close with in Lakech, which means I am another yourself. This effort that we have here with this new show is about empowering yourselves, becoming you know, the greatest potential that you can be. And this is what we want to do for ourselves and for everybody.
Right, in many ways, what we're offering is a very Capricornian mastery of your own life here and how to manage your time and resources for the maximum benefit for yourself and hopefully for the collective as well. So thank you, as always, Bella, for delivering the Mayan side of this. We hope that you've all found this super useful. We will be back again in just under 2 weeks' time to look at the next wave spell. But hopefully we're going to see many of you in the Oak immersion. We are definitely trying to get to the 100th person effect. We were quite close to that right now, but also we would like to see more of you join us and help us hold the space at this very, very powerful, potent and pivotal moment in the collective experience, let's just call it that right now. And holding the space and calling in the higher frequencies collectively is super powerful, as anyone who's done our immersions or any retreats anywhere before will know. So
we'll also leave the link for the Oak preview. We did already a live call with a group, so you can check it out. Lots of interesting information about the Oak, how powerful it is, and especially for this moment, it's just what we need.
And actually, just on that note, we also in our community have monthly live calls in the QPH tribe, which I'll also put the link in. You can take 10 seconds to join up to that free membership and then participate with us on our monthly live calls, where we cover a whole range of topics, often focusing on plants and healing, but also topical stuff that we're perceiving as a community and working together as a community to come up with solutions and protocols for many of the things that are going on in our world right now. We're super positive about the future, right, Bella? We know that everything that is coming is going to be amazing, but we still have a little bit of work, everybody, to get there. And we can't look around and say, hey, you do the work for me. We've got responsibility for ourselves. And I think that this wave spell and the Oak, Bella, are really giving us the opportunity to step through into a different way of existing and being. So I'm really committed to this process myself, doing lots of inner work at the moment, detoxing a lot, and wanting to change the structure of my very existence, because I'm perceiving that how I was living before was something from the old world, and now moving into the new world. I don't want to live the old life in a new world. That somehow is not the point, right? I want to be something different. I want to be the fullest extent of what I can be, and my truest heart's desire is that everybody on this planet gets to be the same thing. And
every Tresena or every wave spell gives us that opportunity of moving farther up in our evolution process. So we can become galactic citizens, finally.
Right, that's super exciting. And I love this aspect of the Mayan stuff, is it really reminds us of the cosmic nature of everything. And again, just going to point over towards the Stellar Nations pathway on Quantum Planet.world, where we really go into our fixed star astrology of our natal charts, and we start to understand through that pathway our own cosmic DNA coding that links us to our cosmic ancestry and all of the gifts and lineages that brings us. This is a big part of the waking up process, everybody. Many of you watching this will have already started on that pathway, and from the reports we've had, it's been as profound for all of you as it has been for us. So definitely, if you are into wanting to expand yourself, better yourself, understand yourself better, working with this new Mayan time in conjunction with plant healing, but also working with this profound aspect of your astrology, really has given both of us anyway, certainly a much clearer idea of who we are and why we're here. And I think, again, that's something that perhaps we should all be striving for in this time. So that's my final thought today.
Wonderful. Okay, we'll see you for the next one, for the next show.
All right, everybody. We will see you in a couple of weeks' time, if not before in the O commercial. Keep it real, keep it empty, and keep it Mayan. We'll see you all again very soon. Bye for now.
In la cage.